gentlemen. How are you?
Great.
Excellent.
How are you, Tim?
Yeah.
Very good. All's good. Thank you both for joining me again. I think Carl Verheyen doesn't need any introductions. And most recently, I think Chapman Welch, our episode or your episode is now my most downloaded episode.
Really?
Wow, that's
Over the
great.
course of nearly 100 episodes. Yeah.
Wow.
At the time of
Interesting.
recording. So it's amazing. So how have you both been? What's been going on?
Carl, you first.
All right.
I could.
I've just finished a new album, and over the years, I've made Carl Verheyen albums, and I've made Carl Verheyen band albums. And right now, I just have the most wonderful band together. There's a bass player that's been with me for years, a drummer that's been with me since about 2014, and then a keyboard player who also plays guitar. But the most talented person in the band is his wife, who sings. And I've been producing a lot too, other people's records. And I always get her to do background vocals, and it makes every song. So, and yesterday I was doing this contemporary Christian artist dude, one of his tunes, and it was kind of an ELO kind of a vibe, really bouncy and fun. Once we put her on there, man, I'm sold, so. But,
wow. What's her name?
This new record, the good news is, the best thing is, we were able to take a lot of this music out on the road and perfect it before recording it. Because I'll never forget Rick Davies from Supertramp. We finished an album, and then we went out on a 4-month tour. The tunes just got better and better. And he at some point just said, it's a pity that the record is a demo for the tour. It should be the other way around.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget that. So I try to say, guys, I got this new song. Let's work it up. Let's get it. Let's play it. See how the audience likes it. 2 days later, I go, you know what? It needs a bridge. I've had that literally. I'm going to go into halftime and down a whole step and do a bridge. And so you just kind of the vision unfolds as to what this song needs to be. So that's what I've been doing.
That's good.
Good.
Chapman?
How about you, Chapman?
Well, mine's a lot less exciting than that. I'm a professor at Rice University, and so I was finishing up finals, and I'm about to go work at this camp with Brian Sutton here in about a couple of weeks. We're going to go do something, but I'm dealing with an arm, like a shoulder issue, like where the pick feels a little less stable than it should. Man, and so I'm trying to sort that out so that's what I'm doing. I'm in full like Zen mode, trying to stretch everything, going to doctors, making sure.
Wow.
So, dealing with injury, I think all guitar players do that. Or have you ever had that, Carl?
No, but I was playing last week in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Yeah, last Friday I was in Fort Wayne playing with Victor Wooten, the bass player. And what a virtuoso he is. He's got something going on too, some kind of a thing he's trying to work through. But I wonder, I've never had it. There's one song I play on acoustic guitar, and if I practice this one section too much, I just go, lay out, stop, stop now.
Yeah. Mine was from driving. I was driving, and it's like lifting the shoulder. It like pinched some sort of nerve.
Ow.
It's better, but I'm just trying to. I'm gonna have to play so much guitar in like 2 weeks. I'm just trying to but then I have to get that.
You gotta get your shit together.
Well, you got to get my shit together as well as get better. So it's like this kind of tightrope, but. Hopefully it all works out. You never know. I've dealt with things like this in the past. And I try to change my technique and do things, but also hereditary stuff. My mother had neck issues.
Can I ask what gauge you use on your acoustic guitars? What string gauge?
I use light, and it's
that an 11
on
an 11.
Yeah, and on the Dreadnought, I use 11 on the like I have a triple O and I use mediums, like 13s on it.
Wow.
But the smaller body, like the bigger body, and like raising your arm to get over it all the time, something about it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just electrics, when I'm playing, a lot of hybrid stuff, and so it's less, like that, it's like there's less tension,
Right.
I'm just you know what I mean? But it's like the bluegrass thing, man, is just really it's hard on
Yeah.
you sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no bluegrass
yeah.
players that are any good that aren't just virtuosos. I mean, they're just such monsters,
He's
Yeah, these
crazy.
guys that are there are, it's pretty crazy lineup. I don't know, it's gonna be, well, Brian Sutton,
Mhm.
uh, I don't know if Billy Strings will be there, but he shows up a lot of
Mhm.
times to hang
Okay.
out. Then there's a guy, Cody Kilby, ever heard of him?
Yeah.
No.
Good
Yeah,
player.
Cody
Yeah.
Kilby, he's gonna be yeah, man, Jake Eddy, all these just monster play Avril, who plays with a band called Delamay. Anyway, a bunch of bluegrass people are gonna be there, and like you said, they're all amazing, and the 12-year-olds are amazing too,
Yeah.
yes, it does
I
Yeah.
saw last year, I saw Sierra Hull, the mandolin player. And her
yeah,
guitar player, I don't know who that dude was, but he was really killing it. He was really
Sean Richardson.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
He was
Yeah,
as good as Billy Strings that she opened for Billy Strings,
yeah,
and she was as good as
yeah,
him.
yeah,
I mean, that guy,
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, he's like he's super awesome
Yeah.
player, man. Yeah, just amazing. I just saw him at Jazz Fest, actually. I heard him play.
Hey,
I was
Tim,
there, and that drive is
Mm.
what got me.
I feel bad. It's like I'm interviewing Jeff.
No,
Well,
fine.
you can steer
Do it.
you can steer it any way
Go.
you want
No.
because
No, no.
I
I mean, I love.
I love
I
bluegrass, and I just wanna pick your brain all day.
Yeah, no, it's cool,
Oh,
man.
man.
I think it was you, Chapman, that put me on to Jake Workman,
Yes.
and I'm
Yeah.
trying to get him on. I had him booked in, and we had a bit of a family crisis, and then he's like, "Do you want to come back?" He's like, "Yeah, just let's do it in the fall. Let's do it in the autumn. I'm like summer's crazy busy, so."
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, his playing is just like when I watch that bluegrass stuff, it's like a mixture of I just want to quit and
Mhm.
I just want to get on top of it, and
No.
it's like I think it's a life dedicated to it.
It's something else, man. It's a different thing. I'm less, what I'd say about it's just a really different way of playing guitar. It's not like
Hmm.
it's just not it's just it's like gypsy jazz or
Yeah.
something, It's like if you're
Yeah,
gonna learn
yeah.
Django style, that's like what you do,
That's what you
It's
do,
like
yeah.
very few
Yeah.
yeah, not a lot of dabblers in
Right, I
that,
know, it's
and
I consider gypsy jazz players, they're like hockey fans in that they're only into hockey, right? Basketball,
yeah,
baseball,
right.
football, they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on but hockey, and the gypsy
Right.
guys are
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
way. One time my band
It's
played, a festival in, right outside of Stuttgart, the Schorndorf Guitar Festival, and there were these gypsy dudes, right? And they were backstage playing A Million Miles an Hour on All of Me. Da, da, da,
Mm.
ba, da, da,
yeah,
da, da, dum, chick,
yeah.
dum, chicka, choo, choo. And that none of them spoke any English, right? So after their set, after my set, I hang around and watch whoever else is playing, and I come tomorrow night and see who all the other players are. After they set, they go straight outside, start a bonfire, and go right into they're back right into it. And this
Mm.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
guy, they don't speak any English, so this one guy played this lick, and I go, "Show me that," because I'm just standing by the bonfire observing, and they're
Yeah.
not paying any attention to anything but themselves. And should I show you the lick?
You do it,
Alright,
yeah.
Yes.
I'll just grab a Telecaster here. I don't know, it's not plugged in, so not sure if you can hear it, but the lick was, I guess for D, let's see, yeah, it could be for F minor, because they always play minor 6 chords, right? So the lick
Right.
Mhm.
was, let me see if I can make this in the screen. F, D, slide down to C, e F, G sharp, or sorry, A flat. So right, so they go
Alright.
Mm.
right? So it's just a 4-note scale. F, A
Yeah.
flat, C, D.
That's super hip.
So I realized, wow, you could use that for D minor 7 flat 5, and you can use it for B flat 7. And you can, it's a really
Yeah, man.
cool lick. The guy just ripped it off lightning fast. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go, God, you got to show me that. But yeah, they're like hockey guys.
Yeah.
hockey players. So anyway,
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Okay. So what? A few things that I wanted to chat about, and I did drop this to you both. I want to start with talking about AI music in general, and if you both have any thoughts about it, what your feelings are. Do you feel like it's AI is maybe a similar entity to when drum machines first turned up and everyone was kind of up in arms, like studio drummers then just had to learn how to program drums? Is it a new tool or is it a completely invasive thing that's going to put us all out of business?
hmm. You want me to start?
You
Sure.
All right.
go.
I think that the AI phenomena right now um, is a different music business than what Chapman and I are in. You know, it's a different music business. It's
Mm,
like the music business, the pop music business, where it's just a bunch of writers. You make the beats, you make the loops, you make the thing, you write the
yeah.
lyrics. It's that kind of a thing. And if you're a musician and you're a real musician, AI doesn't really enter into the picture too much. Now, I understand, and I
Mm,
haven't heard it, that here in the USA, there was a country song that got to the top of the charts, and it was an AI thing. I heard about
right.
that, right? Now, I haven't heard it, and I almost don't have any desire to, but I know it's getting better. I know that it's learning now AI can write its own code, so it's getting smarter and smarter, and,
Mm,
the keyboard player in my band is producing records by a guy who does AI music, and he sends him the track, and then my guy just massages it with keyboards and guitars and
hmm
puts different singers on it and stuff. But it's you know he says it's horrible. He says I hate doing it. I hate producing these tracks. I don't want anything to do with it. So yeah, like I don't believe it's part of the music business that I'm in. You know, people that come to see me
right.
play want to hear real musicians playing real music. We don't have backing tracks. We don't have auto tune. You know,
Yeah.
we just do it. You know, and there will always be a niche and an audience for that, for the real thing. So
Mm,
anyway,
I think so.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it's like you're saying, for real musicians, it doesn't come into play. It's a complicated thing because I like, I appreciate you uh, putting me in with what you did, Carl, but you're a legend, and I'm a guy who hangs out in and teaches. Like I teach a lot of music technology. That's I don't teach a lot of guitar. I teach a lot of guitar online and things, but I music technology is what I deal with. So
Mm,
AI really comes to the forefront here in a lot of ways, and it's like how do universities and people um, deal with this thing? And the thing I can say is that none of us have any idea. Like this was true 10 years ago, but it's more true now than ever. None of us have an idea of teachers, AI people, 5 years from now, what it's going to be like. There's
mm,
right.
zero. We just cannot know,
Hmm.
and so to prepare for it is like throwing throwing darts at the wall. Just go, oh, maybe that, maybe
yeah.
this, maybe that. And the, some of even though I write a lot of computer music and people would go, oh, well, and I do a lot of algorithmic things. There's a real DIY kind of feel to it,
Right.
and you can hear it when it's happening. So there can be soul in that kind of music
Uh
too.
huh.
But with AI, what I find the most troubling is that I could take a Carl Verheyen record and put it in there and it can steal what you're thinking. Now, it's never going to be as good as you, but it's not. But for most people, they don't care. It's like there's a McDonald's on every corner because
Yeah.
they're not like, I mean, regardless of socioeconomic things, it's because people have a taste for like the basic
Yeah.
thing and they don't
hmm
care.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you're in a small studio, like a small like production studio making commercials or something, are you going to hire people? Are you just going to get type in a prompt and make it happen for people that? So I think on some levels, it's taken those jobs, but I feel like it's been taking those jobs
Yeah.
from. Like, I teach a lot of young students, who are, you know, string players. You know,
Mhm.
they're orchestra players. I mean, this is a conservatory here, basically, and you know, it used to be that if you wanted to get your orchestra stuff done, you'd hire LA Phil or whoever to do your
Mhm.
orchestra stuff. Then it shipped over to, like, you know, Eastern European countries,
Sure.
and then now
The
I can
film bit
just record.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Then I can just record 2 or 3 people, and I could get a violinist doubling on viola, get a cellist and a bassist, make them play it 2 or 3 times, put it in AI and sort it out, and it'll just
Yeah.
it's perfect, you
Yeah.
know, and
Mm.
it sounds good, so
You know,
but
I
even
gotta
before
say
I
though
could
that
yeah,
that
yeah,
when you overdub the same string players, it isn't as rich as, you know, Sally, Martha, Bob, Gus, Lenny
yeah,
do it because
Yeah.
all their feels and
absolutely.
their tones and their vibratos are
Yeah,
too good. Two doubling, it doesn't sound as good as two people. I mean, one guy doubling doesn't sound
yeah.
as good as two people. I never think, you know, but you're right. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I
true,
remember a
man.
lot of the orchestral work because I played on hundreds and hundreds of movies, and they go, "Yeah, we're
Mm.
going to where was the they were going to Vienna, they were going a lot in the London Phil because we have a
Mm.
thing called the Musicians Secondary Market Fund. The Film Musicians Secondary Market Funds, which means every movie I ever played on, I was paid the scale for a theatrical release. If it was ever shown on TV or cable TV or in an airplane or on made into a DVD and sold or in any other country but the USA, I got paid again. And so once you've done, you know, maybe 8, 900 movies, it turns into a serious residual, you know, or I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. So those days are gone, you know, like you said.
Mm.
yeah,
I think they can make AI do orchestra stuff. The LA film scoring stages are still pretty busy, you know,
yeah, really,
with
okay.
contractors contracting big orchestras. And I played on movies where there was 105 people hired, 105 musicians, which is a
Wow.
big deal.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, big orchestra.
yeah. So, but man,
And was that also were there singers or was it all
all
players?
players, you know, giant string
Wow.
section, you know, huge percussion section, like 8 guys, and then 2 guitars,
Yeah,
you know. One time I was playing on a movie called Cars, you know, the car Pixar,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
your kids probably did.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I was playing on that one uh, John Lasseter, who was the head of Pixar,
Yeah.
he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Brad Paisley. He's
Oh,
gonna be
wow.
doing the end title." So Brad Paisley comes in, all the string players are, "Oh, who the hell's he?" Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
Brad's looking out over, the whole thing, and he goes, "Hey, Carl," 'cause I've played with him a few times, I know him. He goes, "Hey,
Mm.
Carl,
Wow.
wow, is that a what year is that telly?" You know, 'cause it was a Telecaster kind of
Yeah, yeah.
and he comes back to hang with me, and, you know, this is thousands of dollars a minute, right? Or
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
all
yeah.
these people are getting paid on the clock. So the contractor goes, "Let's take a 10," you know, so anyway, it was pretty
Mm.
Yeah.
so I don't know why that little
That's
story
wild,
popped,
man.
yeah.
Well, that's wild, man. I'll keep telling them I love
Yeah,
it.
no, it's
It's,
we just set you up and off you go.
yeah, man, it's, amazing, man.
Oh, man.
It's,
Yeah, so how you know, Carl, like, how you know, getting into that kind of, gig to where you're playing on all those movies, I mean, besides just being an ace guitar player, like, you know, what was how did you get into like, what was the way in which you kinda got into
Huh,
that?
that's
I'm just
interesting,
curious, yeah.
yeah. I mean, really early on, like 1980, um, yeah, because I grew up in Pasadena, then I moved to, I went to Boston for one semester of Berklee College of Music, and when I moved back,
Yeah,
I was down in Newport Beach playing straight ahead jazz all the time, you know, 5 nights a week, which was a
mm,
great learning, shedding kind of a period,
yeah,
right? Then I decided, all right, the big pond is up in LA, so I moved up, it's like an hour south of here. I moved up to LA and, immediately just started to, "How am I gonna break into this scene," right? But I joined a band of this kinda R&B sax player named Richard Elliott, and he kinda went the smooth jazz route eventually, but when I was in it, it was hard-hitting R&B stuff, and he's really good, and he joined Tower of Power and everything. He's a strong player. And
Mhm.
one night, this woman came in who was really nice, and I talked to her, and she goes, "Listen, I'm the secretary to the head of music at Paramount, a guy named Jack Hunsaker. If you give me some cassettes, I will pass them out to every composer that walks through the door, and they all have to walk through the door, right?"
Mm.
So this is what, cassette era, right? 1981, 82. So I
Yeah.
printed up, 20 cassettes, dropped them off, and she gave them out. And nothing really happened through that. Yet one day, there was a guy named Craig Saffin, a composer, and he calls me out of the blue and he goes, "I got your number from so and so, and somewhere I've heard of you." And I go, "It's probably that cassette." And he goes, "I'm doing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
movie called Stand and Deliver," which was like Edward James Olmos or something. God, my brain's
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
really great today. I usually
Yeah,
can't
you're on
remember.
top
Yeah,
form.
man, crushing.
Crushing it.
It's
So
not even
Yeah.
10 yet, and you're
yeah, so the guy goes, I got your number from somewhere, and can you play the charango? And I go, "Sure.
Yep.
How many strings does it have?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "10." And I said, "I'll be right over." But for some reason, I had a Gibson SG in the car. And me, Tim, I'm a Strat guy,
Mm.
but I had my SG in the car and a little amp. I go over there, string up the charango to be guitar tuning and play on this movie.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. And then before I leave, I said, this movie could use some sort of Santana style, because it's that Mexican American vibe, and could maybe
Yeah,
use
yeah.
the Santana vibe to it. And he goes, "You got one?" And I go, "Yeah." So I pulled out the SG and came back the next day and maybe the third day and played on this entire movie. Then he goes, "I'm starting a TV series next week called Cheers, and I'd like you to play on it."
Damn it,
And I
man.
just did the next 9 years of Cheers, with Vinnie
Oh,
Colaiuta
wow,
and
dude.
Chuck DeMonico and cats. It was
Oh
so
my
you just
god.
kind of slowly eke in some way or another, and but
That's it.
And then you got
to
yeah.
me it was all just a giant detour. I mean, I'm glad I did it. But really what I wanted to do since I first heard George Harrison was just, play my own be my own solo artist, be an artist, and,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
doing the
Yeah.
studio thing, gosh, it was just it was great, and I still do it. I played on a musical a couple of weeks ago, and I'm producing a lot of people, so I'm in the studio still, but those calls don't come in like they used to, not for too many guys. But that's okay,
The
The minute you go out of town with my band, I go out of town with my band for a month and I get a call to do something. They get another guy and he plays maybe on the demo, so they're gonna give him the final, and that kind of thing
mm.
happens.
Yeah.
So but that's okay. I mean, I've been overseas playing and, my wife goes, "Oh, man, you just missed a big, 5-day Disney movie they called you for." And that would have been more that week than I make the whole tour and then would have had residuals, royalties for years to come. But at some point, as an artist, you have to say, do I want to sit around all day with headphones reading this music, uh, you know, QM11, and
Mm.
and or is it more self-righteous and satisfying to just see the whole front row of people in this theater singing along to a song I wrote in my kitchen? And eventually you
Yeah.
just kinda
Yeah.
make the decision, "Okay, I might make a little less dough, but I'll be happier."
Yeah.
It's like, how much do you need? My wife and I talk about this all the
Yeah.
time. It's like, what do we need? You get on the little s- treadmill,
Yeah,
and just do
Mm.
your thing. It's like, well, I could stop.
I know.
Maybe I
My
need to
Yeah.
dad
stop.
used to call my dad used to call it the treadmill to oblivion.
Oh, really?
I need to write that song.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So if I mean, Carl, you mentioned, like, you did one semester at Berkeley.
Mhm.
Was there any reason you only did the one?
I was I followed a girl out there, and so,
Of course you did.
as one does, I was playing here at
Yeah.
5 nights a week in a club called the Sawmill, just solo acoustic, Joni Mitchell, Van Morrison, Jackson Browne, just that singer-songwriter
Yeah.
James Taylor stuff. And then I met this girl, and she lived in Boston, so I decided I would go out there. I would just pull up stakes and see if I can make it somewhere else because it was, getting
Okay.
old. And, at the end of her school year, she moved back to Boston because we were out in Western Massachusetts, And I said, well, I'm going to Boston. I'll follow you over there and enroll in Berkeley. Because I had already done 2 years at Pasadena City College as a music major
Okay.
with David
Yeah.
Lee Roth and Alex Van Halen and all these cats. It was pretty
Damn,
funny
man.
back then. But
Wow.
so I enroll in Berkeley, and the very first class was harmony. The very first day, first class. And the guy goes, okay. He goes on the blackboard. He goes, here's the C scale, right? He writes it. C, D, E, F, G, just whole notes, right? Now, you've all heard of the 1-4-5 progression, right? And everybody goes, yeah. And he goes, okay, every note can be harmonized. The C major, C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, A
Yeah.
minor 7, B minor
Yeah,
7,
yeah.
flat 5, C major 7. He goes, your homework, get a piece of 12-stave music paper, go home, write out all the scales, harmonize all 12 keys. And he gave us a few tips of how to do it. 0 sharps and flats, 1 flat, 2 flats. See, he gave us a few tips of how to get it going. I raised my hand and go, why do we have to do that? Isn't the 6th chord always going to be a minor 7? And he goes, okay, pal, what's the 6th chord in B flat? And I had to go B flat, C, D, E. He goes,
Yeah.
you should instantly know that it's a G minor 7. What's the 6th chord in B flat, G minor 7? It's also the 3 chord in E flat.
Yeah.
It's the 2 chord in F, So he just kicked
Yeah.
my butt. I realized there's something to do here. But at the end of a semester, I realized I need to get experience. I need to get on the street and start playing, just playing and
Yeah.
using this knowledge and getting my chops up and stuff. So that was the
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
And then I found I had some friends that had good gigs down back in California,
So back you
So-
went.
So education, I eventually started teaching at USC. I'm teaching guys trying to get a doctorate in guitar. And I got nothing. I've
Okay.
got no degree myself. So it's interesting because I've always wanted to teach, here's how you make a living. And yet
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that just are never going to do that. They just want to get better. So I'm kind of
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're all
I
in.
think they're two. Yeah, I mean, I think they're two different camps. I mean, I predominantly have the outlook when I have students come in. At the back of my mind, it's like, what am I going to teach you that is going to be beneficial in 10 years' time when you're sat on a gig?
Right.
So, like chart reading,
Yeah.
being able to play all of your chords nicely. Can you play to a click? Can you keep in time? You got good tone, good rhythm, good feel, all of those things that I'm focused on. But I get a lot of students come in, they just want to do all the technique stuff. It's like, okay, that's good. It's great. Everyone wants to get their chops up, as you said, but that's what, 2% of what I would play on a paid gig.
Right.
Chords, rhythm, tempo, groove, charts, dots,
Yeah.
MD, click. That's kind of where that's the money maker.
That's it. Yeah. That's how you make a living,
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what I'd love to know, what I'd pose to you both, if you were to both run your own college, what would it look like, and what would you teach?
go ahead.
Man, I'll start with that. I'll take this one, Carl. So, I teach at a very it's a conservatory, but it's in this very good school here, and it's really orchestra based. It's really about orchestra. So, first thing I'll say is I have no idea, Tim. But what I'll tell you is that I've had students who this great violinist, he had gone to Juilliard and then he came to Rice and he was studying Rice. He got a master's degree at Juilliard and he came here and got a master's degree. Now he's a cop in Aspen, Colorado.
Wow.
A cop, a police officer.
Yeah,
Amazing.
police officer,
right.
because he had gone to Aspen for all the music festivals and played out there, and he just looked around and said, being a cop out here wouldn't be, you're not like,
Yeah.
you're not cracking heads in Aspen, you know what I
pretty
mean?
mellow.
So it's like, yeah, it's pretty mellow
Yeah.
cop gig,
Good
So
cop
it's
gig.
like, and he was amazing player, and he just decided, you know what, it's not for me. And like there was a good, if you know Colonel Bruce Hampton, if
Yeah.
you know that guy,
He passed
yeah.
away, right?
So like, yeah, he died on stage.
Right.
Wow, damn.
at his 70th birthday, anyway, I worked with this producer named Johnny Sandlin
Yeah, he's heavy.
who who when I was a kid, and that's how I kinda got into it, but he would tell stories about Bruce. I met Bruce a few times, but he would say, his advice to young musicians was to quit, and
Mm,
the reason being not to he was just like, "If you can quit, do it.
Mhm.
If you can't
okay.
quit, you're one of us," you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's sort of how it goes, and so I don't know what to teach at a university. I mean, even though I do teach at a university, I can't think of my thing, but what I can say is I think a lot of people fall in love with the idea of what music making is gonna be like as
Mm,
opposed to what the actual truth of it is, which
Business.
is
Yeah.
a l yeah, business, a lot of hard study and thinking and working through things and like you guys were saying, basics. It's not about it's like
Yeah.
145 all the way up and all can you find it all? Can you settle down and listen to what's happening?
That's true, yeah.
And do something that complements it rather than
Yeah,
thinking about your ego of what it
right.
is, it's like
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
and so I don't know about what to teach at a university. I do know that it's harder and harder. Orchestra jobs are harder and harder to find,
Yeah.
Mm,
and, I have a doctorate in music, but it's in music composition and, electronic music too, and I sometimes I feel like it's maybe a a pyramid scheme. Like
Poss
yeah,
You're
yeah.
I I teach people how to make things that I make things that nobody wants to hear, and I teach people how to make
Yeah,
things that
right,
nobody
yeah.
wants to
Well,
and so
I
eventually
always think that the only reason to get a degree is if you wanna teach in a conservatory or a respected university. That's really the
Mm,
only reason, and the only reason that I got the gig at, USC. And I quit after 3 years because there were people whose fathers had built this building, right? In other words, their father
right.
donated enough money to build the scoring stage or something. That guy was at USC going for free, because he
Yeah.
could, and yet did he show up on time? Did he learn the stuff? No, so I got
right.
disillusioned with that. And the other thing is, um, this is a funny thing. We have this school here called Musicians Institute, MI, and they
Yeah.
asked me to
Mhm.
teach a course, and I said, I don't really want to do that. And then they said, we'll call it Advanced Electric Guitar in the Style of Carl Verheyen. So it's like, oh, okay,
How
never
could you
see it.
not?
Well, I'll do that. So I did it, and it was 25 people, right? And I did it a semester. And the first thing I ask is who actually is in this course because they want to make a living? And most of the hands went up, not just learn about music, but actually
Mm,
do it for a living. So I said, all right,
Yeah.
then we're going to spend the first 4 or 5 weeks on rhythm guitar because there are a lot of
Mhm.
yeah.
schools of rhythm guitar that you can draw from. And I want you to really get to know each one. I remember working for this jingle composer who only wrote in the key of C, and he'd call me twice a week. And there'd be little ditties, some of them be finger picking folky things. Others would be in the style of, Curtis Mayfield, Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
Another would be Steve Cropper licks, but I always had to go to my compartments of rhythm guys. Andy Summers, I
Yeah.
could use his
Right. Yeah, yeah.
this, and there's so many guys. And so I was teaching that, but then I was making them play with a drummer or with a metronome and just let me see what your groove is. You're on top, or
Yeah.
your pocket is a little bit behind. Let's hear you play center time and then adjust as per the vibe,
Mm,
like you might want to lay it
yeah.
back a little bit, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I had one student, this is what caused me to quit. I was showing him how to play the harp harmonics, right? And I do it with a pick
Yeah.
Mhm.
and pinky. And I'm saying, yeah, I never want to put the pick in my mouth or put it down like the
Mm,
classical guys, play it with my fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm showing him how to do that, and these people are struggling to learn it. One guy goes, "Why do I need to do that? All I want to know, all I want to do is learn how to play like Slash."
mm, gee, okay.
I go, buddy, you can learn how to play like Slash in your bedroom,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've played with Slash a few times. Great guy. He's a cool, he's a really good
Jesus.
dude, Is he a monster guitar player? I don't know. I mean, a lot of guys I know played that well in high school, but he's got a
Yeah.
Yeah.
tone and a vibe and a hat and a cigarette. He's got his thing.
Mhm.
But so that
Yeah.
caused
Yeah.
me to go, you know what? I just don't want to waste my time with these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you see that too, Chapman, where the students you
Well,
don't really deserve to be here.
well, actually, this place, man, is there's no guitar players. So I'll just go ahead and tell you that there's zero guitar
Oh,
players. That
Okay.
there's no guitar studio here, and so most of the folks who are here are really great musicians. As far as it doesn't depends on what you call a great musician. Like some of them don't have any clue what the harmonies happening. But if you put notes on a page and a
they can play.
violin in their hand, they can spit them out. They couldn't tell you anything about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think guitarists, we're kind of made to know a lot about theory and be composers, even if we're not
Yeah.
composers in the real, like, oh, I write string quartets or whatever. But we're all composers because we have to know this theory to get to do the gig, to do any gig, you know. But I tell people this. I had a guy yesterday. I was giving a lesson. He's like, "Should I learn to read music?" I said, "No," because he wanted to learn bluegrass guitar, and it's like, you don't need to learn
Mm.
how to
Yeah.
read music to play those gigs
You
ever.
need a good
Yeah.
capo.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, right.
You know?
And I mean, and the capo thing, people, the capo thing is really for the fiddle tune because it's like if it's in open A, it's like it's hard to like if you play on a mandolin, it's great fun to play these fiddle tunes. If you play on a guitar, there's one guy, Michael Daves. I don't know if you know
I've heard
him.
the name, yeah.
He 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 doesn't play with a capo. So if it's in B flat, he plays the bluegrass tune in like B
Good
flat
for
with no
him.
capo.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and it just but it never sounds right,
Doesn't
in a
sound
way,
like it,
you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
Like,
I like those
well, it doesn't
keys.
sound like
I like those keys, like the flat keys for lots of reasons. Like B flat has an open D and an open G, and then the flat
yeah.
5 is your high E. So you can come up
Mm.
with
Yeah,
great licks that use those open strings but yeah, I know what you mean. I mean,
absolutely.
to sound like bluegrass, you really need to be capoed on the 3rd fret.
Yeah, and it's like to me it messes me up because like I'll close my eyes and in my brain I'm in G.
Mhm. Mm.
And then when I look down I'm like, "What am I
Yeah,
doing? Where am I?" Because it's like, "Oh, I'm actually in B flat or
Yeah.
whatever," and it's like I have to like recalibrate my whole thing, because it's like if I'm in B flat, I want to be able to get behind this capo. If
yeah,
you know what I mean,
Yeah,
it's like it's
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
So I try to. But then when you watch Doc Watson, I transcribed some Doc Watson recently, and I was showing people this. It's like 5, 6 frets because he was blind. He wasn't going to jump to the 14th
right.
fret.
Mm.
It's like
Interesting.
he's only playing in these 5 or 6 frets.
Yeah,
So the capo really is just kind of moving the world of bluegrass up and down. And if you listen to
exactly.
any of those cats, if you listen to any of those cats play, they're really only playing. I mean, you get out of it some, workmen, like you're saying, and the
Yeah.
new guys, they get all around, but it's like, for the old school guys, it's right living right there. And he just
Yeah.
crushes and play. Doc Watson crushes, uh, you know, this is Beaumont Rag, the 12 string
Oh,
version.
wow.
And it's
Mm.
all in 5 frets,
Right, yeah.
5
I'm a big
frets.
Tony Rice
But
fan, and, yeah,
yeah,
that guy just had such a great feel, but he seemed to, cross-pollinate. Like, I heard a Pat Martino lick go by, from Tony
yeah,
Rice, and I go, "Man, so he's really taking these jazz ideas and putting them into the bluegrass thing," and it just what I like about that is it expands the whole genre, it takes it
yeah.
another level, so it's cool.
Mm.
All those Grisman
Yeah,
records, all the Grisman quintet records with Tony Rice and stuff. And um, I think something cool about Tony Rice to me is just like there's like a like a handful of things that he's gonna do,
right.
like but you always know it's him, and the things he's gonna do are really awesome. So it's like it's cool, but he's never. It's formulaic sometimes, but not in a bad way. I
Right.
don't mean that negative. It's like, why do you know it's Charlie Parker? It's not because he's not playing like Charlie
Yeah,
Parker. It's because he sounds like Charlie Parker.
yeah.
And the same thing with Tony Rice. It's like he'll do these like little that lick or
Yeah.
that lick, and
It's his
that's him.
signature stuff, right. It's his artistic
Mm.
Yeah, man.
signature, yeah. I'm all into that, like, what are the artistic signatures of my heroes? And, he's got a few for
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
So,
Yeah.
what are your artistic signatures, Carl? What do you
My
think?
artistic signatures are trying to, I mean, I studied with a guy early on, maybe just 10 lessons or something, a guy named Joe DiOrio. And
Oh, yeah.
his concept was you need to make a tonal center, a key of the moment, sound like you. And you need to, in other words, if you're in C minor, you need to realize that going up and down the scale is not necessarily music. So intervals become your friends. So my
Mm.
artistic signature, I believe, all these years, I mean, since like 19, God, probably the late 70s, my artistic signature has been not playing C minor like this, just like, shredding in one position like that,
Yeah.
but actually taking the sound of C minor, and it's too bad we have these little thin things here. Let me see if I can back up. Taking the sound of C minor and saying, well, maybe I'll start on a C. Can you guys hear this a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah.
Start on a C, maybe go up to an A, major six, then up a half step to B flat. And I'm thinking, what do I want it to sound like? Down a minor third, up a minor six, up a whole step, down a fourth, up an octave, up a whole step, use my thumb. So, so in other words,
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
cool. Yeah.
use intervals. And the other thing about this Joe DiOrio character, he said his method of studying and learning to be himself, his method of studying was to keep a lick book. And so I've been doing that since Jesus left Chicago. Yeah. So in other words, I'm just looking for a typical page because I've been working on an album, so a lot of that stuff's going in here. Uh, let's see here. So what I'm doing is yeah, I guess this is a typical page. I'm just writing down my musical ideas. And I'm probably
Mm.
on volume 25 or 30, of the lick book. There's always a lick book, a musical diary open on my music stand or on my counter. And yeah, like here's G7, F minor 7, F sharp minor 7, A minor E. Here's a handful of lines that I wrote out, as I'm thinking of them. Because if you just
Mm.
start playing, I mean, as a musician, if you just play freely and just for the sheer joy of hearing it in the room, and you just kind of like, I'm just going to start in B major and go up. And when I hit that high F sharp, I'll just call that the third of D and I'll come down in D major. And when I get down to
Mm.
the, maybe an A, I'll call that the fifth of, no, I'll call that the third of F. I'll start an F lick or the third of F sharp minor. And so I'll just play for the, just what comes to mind. It's kind of a cosmic Zen
Yeah.
thing to do, especially
Yeah.
if you have some distortion and you
Mm.
have a I have a wireless system so I can walk around the house with nobody's home and just
I'm sure she loves it.
Oh, wow.
crank it in the studio. But every time I come across something that doesn't sound like any of my heroes, right?
Mm.
Something that just sounds like me, I go, all right, lick book, write it out and finger it. And the way I finger it is the frets, I don't know if you can see it. The position goes on top like the classical players, but they use Roman numerals and I don't. And then
Yeah.
the fingers you use are underneath here. So I can always come back and
Okay.
see what I was doing and go, wow. And if it gets under your hands, great. And if it doesn't,
Yeah.
you might go back 5 pages, go, well, that was a good idea. I'm gonna work that, and then you find that, hey, not only does it work for F minor, it works for B flat 7 if you change one note, and it works for A flat major
Yeah.
7, major 9, so it's just money in the bank. Because many years
Yeah.
Do
ago,
you revisit it?
yeah, revisit it.
Do you revisit them a
Yeah,
lot? Do you
I do,
revi
yeah,
you
I'll go
you do?
back and just see what I was
Okay.
if I'm uninspired, or I'll
Oh, I
pull
see.
out one of the old lick books and go, "Man, I was so into the diminished scale, I've got, like, 40 great diminished licks, and I only know 5 of them. Let's add some more."
Yeah.
Here's a turning point for me. There's an article in Contemporary Keyboard magazine, and I happened to be at the beach reading that for some reason. And Chick Corea, one of my heroes, he's in it, the keyboard player. And he goes,
Yeah.
and this is so profound. He said, the best of us are only improvising 30% of the time. The other 70%, we are stringing together ideas that we've got worked out. Man,
Yeah.
you never
Uh,
hear him repeat himself, right? So I'm going, that guy has so much great, A dominant 7 stuff. He can just go and go and go. He's got so many ideas worked out, you know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
made me think I need to get my vocabulary up, not only for jazz and rock and bluegrass and country and fusion and blues, but just my own style, my own ideas. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was a turning point for me.
Do you think
You
that
know,
that 30% of improvising, do you think that is something that he alluding to, we need to up that number, or is it just that's the number that it should always be at? And
I think he just said the best of us. That's what he said. Best
right.
of us are only at 30%, you know.
Yeah.
And you can look at it like the this creative pool that's a cylinder, right? And guys with
Yeah.
super chops like John McLaughlin or Matteo Mancuso or
Yeah.
mhm,
Al Di Meola, they tap in here, right? But BB King taps in here, way down here. I mean, you go,
Mm,
his
yeah.
chops were not astronomical, or Albert King,
mm.
but he's in that creative
Yeah.
pool, and it's just as powerful as any guys,
Yeah.
anybody. So I love to
Yeah.
Right.
think of it that way, because that means you can only be the best Chapman you can be. You can
Yeah.
only be
Yeah.
the best Tim Love you can be. So you kind of look at it like, I don't care where you're tapping in, you just got to tap in to where people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that, man. That's a really good point. I was thinking about something you said about Slash. I have not jammed with Slash, but having said that, but but what trips me out about that is like, I tell people this. I always use the Pixies because I love the Pixies, but I said if there was a if there was a Broadway show about Guns N'
Mhm.
Roses, Slash could not get the gig to play guitar on it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's it.
That's right.
And
He
it's
couldn't read it.
and it's right. They'd be like next,
Yeah. Yeah.
even you know what I mean. And so
That's funny. That's a
that's
funny
kind of like the
that's a funny analogy. Tim, you do a lot of Broadway,
Mm.
musicals, right? Shows?
I started, yeah, it's about 2 years ago now. I just, I got tired of doing the 4 a.m. getting home from a gig, and a friend of mine suggested, "Why don't you do some shows?" I was like, "Well, my reading's a bit crap," and he said, "Well, just learn." So I got a couple of books, the real book. I got the William Levitt Berkeley book,
Yeah.
and I just started reading, and then yeah, I just finished a run of Camp Rock and Dear Evan Hansen,
Oh,
which was
great.
oh wow.
really fun to play. Like it
Great.
was
Yeah.
I was guitar 2 on that one, and there's just lots of really nice ambient textures
Oh,
and stuff,
fun.
which I love to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really good. Like, hopefully, like, I've got half an eye on the West End, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
It's
It's an
just
easy
but,
commute.
yeah, I love doing it as well, and I actually wanted to mention, like, we touched on, like, violin players just being able to read it, but there's no, like, uh, broader sense of the music, and I was talking to somebody on the gig. And he said, The sound in my ears is crap. I'm just going to have to take the cast out of my ears because it's terrible." And I was like, man, I could not do a gig without the cast vocals, at least the lead vocals in my ears, because I'm so used to following the vocals. I'm using vocal cues. I'm using it to navigate the song.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't do it. They put me off. I'm just there. I'm just reading. And it was interesting because he had learnt music classically, like the violin players, just reading, just the dots,
Mhm.
just the dots. Whereas I learnt from, putting
Yeah.
songs on and jamming along.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to have the vocal. And he's like, I can't have the vocal. Or I have as little as possible.
Mhm.
And I just thought that was really interesting because if there's a fuck up,
Mhm.
the singer comes in early, the singer comes in late. It's like
You're
I can
there.
navigate
Yeah.
that. That's not a problem.
Right.
He's not. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm on. It's 47 bar 48 bar
Yeah.
49. He's like, no, 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 no. And
Yeah. By the book.
so I just found that really interesting, like how he learnt music and how I learnt music.
Very different
It's true,
approaches.
man.
Definitely.
Mm.
That's cool. Yeah, I learned to
I'm not
read.
all
I learned to
violinists.
read music because back in the day, you used to have to go to the musicians' union and pick up your checks for a session,
Mm.
and you'd have to physically show up, go to the counter, and get them. They eventually started mailing them,
Yeah.
and then it became direct deposit. But I'm at the musicians union, and a good friend of mine that I worked with a lot, a guy named Gordon Goodwin, who just recently passed away, but he's really big in the big band world. I mean, huge.
Mm.
But at the time, he was doing movie soundtracks and composing and orchestrating. And I see him in the parking lot, and he goes, "Hey, Carl, listen, I want you to hear this from me. I've got a giant session, a triple, meaning, a 10 a.m., a 1 p.m., and a night one for this
Mm.
movie I'm doing on, what did he say? It's going to be on Wednesday." And he goes, we got a lot of hard reading to get through. And so I called this other guy. Even though I like your
Mm.
sound better, your improvising, your
Yeah.
feel better, your rhythm guitar tones, everything better. We got a
Mm.
big job to do. I'm calling this other guy. I go, "Gordon, I understand. No problem, man." So I go to my car, shut the door, and I went, "God damn it!" Because it was like a $1,500 day, right? And I
Yeah.
was a kid, so I'm gonna walk
Wow.
out. My gardener's walking by, so I'm gonna go to
Okay.
another room. So anyway, I was learning classical guitar by trading lessons with a guy that I teach him electric blues stuff, and he'd teach me classical guitar. And I showed up and
Mm.
I said, "Hey, man, I just lost this huge session because because of my reading sucks." And I said, "I wish there was a class we could go to where we could like get basic sight
Oh, we've
reading
lost
down."
you.
Sorry for all this
Ugh,
running around. There. All right, we're back. So he said,
no
That's
worries.
okay.
he said, "Let's start our own class. Let's just have a class where we get together every day, Monday through Friday, 9:30, and we sight read for 2 hours every day."
Mm.
And he goes, "We'll go. The only requirements to our class are we're going to go down to this store called Baxter Northrop, and we're going to get flute books, clarinet books, saxophone books, trumpet books,
Mm.
classical duet books, classical jazz duet books. I mean, jazz duet books, and we're just going to read every day. And all you need is
Yeah.
a metronome and a coffee pot." That was the
Yeah.
requirements. So my house on Monday, his house Tuesday, and we just do it. We
Yeah,
read
yeah.
an hour, take a 15-minute break, read an hour, see you tomorrow. And we did it for like
Wicked.
6 months. But after 2 months, because I was trying to learn how to read and I couldn't, the key is keeping your eyes going, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Keeping
yeah, yeah.
like, do not stop at bar 47 because you screwed it up. What was that? You don't want to ever do that. You want to go, "I missed
Yeah.
47, but now we're on the end of 4 and 48. So
Yeah, yeah.
catch
Yeah.
up and go." So we did. We taught ourselves to read by just doing it every day. And pretty soon we started to get so busy we couldn't meet we couldn't meet, you know. We had no
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do is actually practice it. Like, I'm a pianist and, as well, and how I learn classical music and how I play classical music is learn this, put it with this, put it with this, and just one after the other. And
Mm.
and I'm a shit reader. I'm a terrible sight reader on piano because I'm doing exactly what you said, Carl. Because I never had to do it.
right.
Yeah.
And if you never have to do it, you're never going to get
Right.
good at it. And if you never do it, how could you
Well,
get
there's a
good
big
at it?
big
You know?
Mm.
difference, as Tim knows, there's a big difference between reading and sight reading. And,
Yeah,
you
I
see those
don't.
string players that they are sight reading, man, they're just
Yeah.
roaring through it.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
horn players.
Yeah, I need a couple of weeks with the pad just to kind of get it under my fingers, but
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
So that's
I
what.
don't turn up to shows, open the pad, and go, right, let's see what I'm doing today. That's the fastest way to lose a gig for
Yeah,
me.
exactly. Well, you're doing the right thing.
So
Being super prepared is the whole deal. It's
Yeah.
everything.
mm,
So
yeah.
so that's you never wanna suck. That's
No,
my
that's
Yeah.
motto.
right. Yeah.
I will not suck.
Don't suck.
Yeah.
Y yeah. That's me, I have to
Yeah.
prepare. Like, I read fine, I just don't sight
Right,
read
yeah.
worth it's like,
But all those
so it's like,
classical
yeah, dude.
guitar players, Angel Romero and Christopher Parkening, they don't sight read. They put that stuff together over months and months of
Right.
practice,
Mm.
to where they
That's the piano stuff I was doing. It's like you just, big pieces. You can't learn 60 pages sight reading. You have to like take it in and get that narrative to where you can, it's like telling a story, telling it from beginning to end. And
Yeah,
like I've started the story and 40 minutes later, the story's over,
yeah,
Yeah.
and if I screw up, I can like pivot and change my story a
right.
bit and,
Mm.
Get back on track.
I'm a
Anyway.
big Mark Knopfler fan. I love that guy's playing and
Oh, yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
One year, I think it was 1985, Supertramp was playing in Boston at Boston Gardens, and the next night was Dire Straits. So they came to our show and we went to their show. So after the gig, um, we're all staying in the same hotel. So I go up to the rooftop bar, the penthouse bar, and Mark Knopfler's sitting at the bar. So I go talk to him,
Mhm.
and we just started talking about guitars, and it was really fun, really a neat thing.
Hmm.
And he goes, "Do you read music?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "That ain't the blues." And I go, "No, that ain't the blues." But I, but,
I didn't say it was.
but, but I consider it a privilege on a Sunday morning to pull out, Bach's sonatas and partitas for the solo violin and just kind of read through some of it. And his response was, "Bach, that ain't the blues." So it's obviously you never had to make a living doing what Tim and I do, like
Yeah, yeah,
working,
yeah,
concerts and shows that you're written out and stuff like that. So
yeah.
that should,
The Bill Monroe version of that is that ain't no part of nothing. That's what he would say. It's like that
yeah,
ain't no part of
yeah,
nothing. Yeah, dude.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
some roadie I came across, he said, "That's not even 4/5 of fuck all."
Roadies have the best wisdom, don't they?
I know.
They've just
They're deep.
they've been around too much, and they have too much to give.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I want to touch on is what's kind of unpopular opinions that you hold about music, or learning music, or touring, or gigging, or teaching.
What are the popular myths, did you say? Oh,
Unpopular,
unpopular.
an unpopular opinion.
An unpopular thing that we personally hold, or an
Yeah,
unpopular thing
what,
that
something that
we
you
see in
hold.
the. Mm.
Well, for me, it would be I like to tell people to learn all styles, learn multiple
Mm.
styles. And some people say, "Well, what if I want to be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan?" And I say, "Good luck with that."
Yeah,
There's a
Yeah,
one in a
right.
million chance that you will be the next Stevie Ray Vaughan, and if
yeah,
you cop all his licks and own just that thing, you have about that big of a chance of making a living, that tiny of the wedge of the pie.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's an
yeah, yeah.
unpopular thing that I sometimes tell people because people aren't interested in other styles.
Mm.
Yeah. I Man, unpopular opinion. I don't know if I have an unpopular one, but something you were saying about like, having that little wedge, for me, I never really mastered anything. Like I love so many, it grabs my attention, and I don't write the best string quartets, but I've written string quartets. I'm not the best guitar player, but I love playing guitar. I'm not the best pianist, but I can do all these little
But I
gigs. Like
think
if you
that's
have a
cool
gig.
too. I think that's just as cool.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is like, there's Fred Frith, the great weirdo guitar player. Do you
I
know
know who
him,
he is.
Fred
Yeah.
Frith? Anyway, so like, yeah, he had a thing. It's like the musician who can do anything probably will. That's what
Yeah.
his quote is, and so, but I always feel like that. Like I can do like I'm not the greatest jazz player, but I can make some. I can do some things. I can. I've had to play those gigs. I'm not the greatest blue. I can do all these things, like you're saying, playing different styles. And so, for me, that has been. I guess I have the same unpopular opinion as you. Is like music pulls me in so many different ways that I can't possibly pick one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like I get sick of I'll play bluegrass a bunch. I'm like sick of
Right.
it, moving on. I'll
Mm,
play jazz for I'm sick of it, moving on. Then I
mm.
come back. I go back,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
kinda how I
I
learned
build these
too.
yeah.
I'd work on this Chet Atkins thing for, like, a week, and then by the end of that, I just wanna play some Albert King. We'll transcribe that, and then
Yeah.
maybe some
Mm.
John Coltrane, and then got sick of that, and now I wanna check out some, Albert Lee. So I
Yeah.
just would I just the key to practicing and getting better is to always stay interested. And to this day, I'm
Yes.
still always interested.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah,
not
man.
burnt out or bored of it because there's always something I'm not so good at over here that I should really look at.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
I love the reel that you put up. I think it was two days ago where you were learning jazz tunes. Like, right, I'll learn the chords. I'll learn the melody. I'll put
Mhm.
the chords and the melody together. Now I'll try and remove some
right,
bits
yeah.
and try and make it my
And then
own.
learn to
And I
blow
just
on it,
thought,
and
yeah,
learn to blow on it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then learn it in what other key that popular key that singers do it in. Just at least the
Yeah,
chord
yeah.
changes.
mm,
So
mm.
I took a lesson from Joe
That's some
Pass one time.
Oh,
Fucking
Yeah.
hell,
really?
man! Listen. Every time we have these conversations, your stories always start with, I did this session with Ray Charles. I was hanging out with Mark Knopfler.
Well,
I
the
love it,
lesson
man. I love
from Joe Pass, it was a terrible lesson. I mean, it was,
Right. Okay.
and it was. I just felt so bad because we had arranged for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I played in this
Yeah.
club, and he was playing there on the weekend. So I go to him. I go every night, right? And I go, Joe, I know that you're staying at the Ben Brown's Motor Hotel down the street. Can I get a lesson when you're here? And he goes, Yeah, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. $50, which was, the 70s. That was a lot of money for
Yeah.
me. So I go there at 5 minutes to 10, and he's walking around. Him and his two sons are walking to the beach with fishing poles. They're just walking.
Right.
And I go, Oh, Joe, listen, I'm so sorry, man. We don't have to do this. We can come back. I can come back another day. We can do it. And he goes, No, come on. So we go into his hotel room, and it's a disaster. Of course, the bed's unmade, but there's like cigarettes crushed out into cereal bowl milk and
Yeah.
pizza
Yeah.
boxes, and you kind of have to move some crap out of the way to sit, right? So he goes, "What do you want to do?" I'm not really a teacher, and I go, "Well, why don't we do a song?" And he goes, "Okay, what song do you want to do?" And I go, "Well, I heard you play What's New last night."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What key?" I go, "Well, C, of course, the key it's written in." He goes, "No, if I know a song in one key, I know it in all 12 keys." And that
Mm.
that was the only thing I got out of that lesson,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
every 5 minutes, Dad, can we go fishing? So
Oh
I
man.
think I left after 45 minutes, but anyway,
Was was he nice or was he not
he was
nice?
just kind of rough. Once he knew that I was a serious student of the instrument and could play, then he
Yeah.
mellowed out a little bit. But he said, "When I play something you don't know, stop me." So he goes, "What's new?" I go, "Stop." He goes, "Oh,
Mm.
no, you don't know that?" Well, that's just a diminished chord substituting for the 5 chord, G7 going to C. How has
Yeah.
the world treated you? Stop! Well, that's just the flat 5 substitution principle. I put an E minor and an A instead of the B flat and the E flat. He just had
Yeah.
he just had his thing. It was cool.
Did you record it? Did you record it on tape or did you
No,
have
I
like a
sure
tape recorder
didn't,
there?
but back then,
Yeah.
who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He,
Sure.
he does. He strikes me as a bit of a grumpy old man.
Yeah, he was kind of a grumpy old man, yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
But just a phenomenal
Oh my
player
god,
and
yeah. Just
like one of those once
Yeah.
in a lifetime kind of
I
guys.
know. Now I have another problem. The gardener's making so much noise.
I can
I
hear
gotta
it,
shut the window.
motherfucker. That's all right. Uh, I'll pivot back to something else I was going to talk about. If you had one guitar, one pedal, and one amp, Chapman, what are you going to take?
One guitar, one pedal, one amp.
Yeah.
One guitar, one pedal, one amp. Hmm. Telecaster.
Yeah.
Uh, the amp's I'd take like a Princeton Reverb and a Memory Man. That'd be my.
Wow,
That'd be my
very
Nice.
setup.
close to mine.
Oh, go on then. What
Stratocaster,
was yours?
some sort of a delay pedal, and a Princeton
Hmm.
reverb. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
the desert island rig because I'd love it. It'd be just fine.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
You'd be there. You should be there all day. Like, no, I don't need water. I've got my delay pedal.
Yeah, exactly. I've got 14 Stratocasters and 4 Princetons, so I've taken it.
Oh, wow.
I've taken it to the extreme.
My Princeton doesn't have reverb
Oh,
on it,
wow.
but that's what I would pick. I have that 59 sitting right here. Actually, I don't know why I brought it up to school, but anyway. So, yeah, man. I don't know something you were saying. Never mind. I forgot. I lost my train of
Well, the
thought.
Princeton
Move
reverb
on.
for me, the Princeton reverb is what God intended electric guitar to sound like. And you can
Okay.
tune, you can intonate, you can just get your pickup heights right just through the Princeton, and it works for everything. Yeah.
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 I recently,
Stuff.
about 4 years ago, I got a Dumble amp, and
Okay.
Oh,
and the
wow.
reason,
I heard you talking about this.
I got one from. I play this thing called the Guitar Master Series in Bakersfield, the home of Buck Owens and Dwight Yoakam and all that.
Yeah.
And I was going up to do one, and the guy, the promoter said, "Hey, there's a dude up here that's been to all 97 Guitar Masters concerts, and you're his favorite." And I go, "Wow, I'm honored." And he goes, "And he's got a Dumble Overdrive Special he wants to sell you." And I go, "Yeah, whatever. That's
Wow.
way out of my wheelhouse,
Yeah.
So then he goes, "No, he wants to sell it to you for $5,000. And I go, "Yeah, that's never going to happen." So I go up there, I do the gig, and then after the gig, I'm doing the selfies and the, signing stuff. And the promoter taps me on the shoulder. "You want to meet the Dumble guy?" And I go, "Good night, everybody."
Yeah.
I go meet this guy, and he was an older guy that had been good friends with Dumble, and Dumble had made one for him maybe 15, 20 years ago. But he'd never taken it out of his house to a gig. So it's just perfect condition. So I go, "Well, how much do you want for it?" And he says, $5,000. I said, "Do you realize you could get 50 times that money? They're going for
Yeah.
200 grand,
Yeah.
And he goes, "Listen, I don't need the money. You need the amplifier." "Yes, sir." So,
All right.
so I had to fly to
Hey, man.
Dallas to play a concert the next morning. So I come back on Monday morning, and he calls me. He goes, "You still want the amplifier?" And I go, "Buddy, I will be right up." So I didn't even have time to talk to my wife about, a $5,000 purchase, which we usually
Yeah.
discuss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the way up, I call her. I go, "Look, I'm going to get this amp, and if we don't like it, we can turn it in on a Ferrari."
Yeah.
But I really dig it. It really is a cool thing. It sounds great. I'll hang on to it.
Yeah.
Like what is it do you have to get it just cranked before it does anything, or is it pretty nice?
Surprisingly
Low?
enough, its clean sound is really rich. It's got all kinds of overtones in the clean sound. It's fat.
Yeah.
And I just recently on the new album, I think the last solo I did was just a 335 straight in, and no pedals, nothing. And we just turned it up to just the perfect singing saturation. But it was glorious. And so it has a lot of uses. I mean, clean, it's good too. It's warm.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah.
than the Fender clean because it's a little bit thicker and warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the old Marshalls.
Gotcha.
I like the Marshalls built in the 68, 67, 66, where you can turn them up to 5 before they even start to distort, and they have no master volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Best piece of advice that you either give or you have received. And I know you talked about Joe about his lick book. So let's go with something that you offer up.
Well, for a starting musician today, you need to realize that eventually it's going to be about multiple income streams. In other words, you don't. Larry Carlton told me this years ago. He goes, you don't want to have to put your guitar in the trunk of your car to go and do a gig to make money. And I go, "But Larry, that's all I want to do." And he goes, "You'll see." Well, he was right, because years later, there's publishing royalties, there's songwriting and stuff, and there's there's residuals and There's books you can write, there's live performance, there's master classes you can do, there's educational things. In other words, you can make a list of all the income streams and you'd be surprised at how many there are for a musician, producing
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
So that's the advice I'd
Do
give
you
is just to realize that early on.
mm.
Yeah.
Do you think those income streams are still the same, or do you think there's gonna be a whole bunch of new ones with things like Instagram and YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, the YouTube, I got my buddy Tim Pierce makes a really good living with his
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
YouTube channel, So there
Yeah.
there there are things that Larry never knew and never thought about. But I mean, I'll make
Mm.
a really quick story out of this. When I got married, my wife thinks she's married this artistic, a musician with integrity, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
she's getting ready to go to work, and I go in our little second bedroom in our apartment, and I start playing Camptown Ladies, the Chet Atkins. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
Yeah.
He goes,
Yeah, yeah.
"What are you doing? That's the corny stuff my dad listens to. What is that?" And I go, "Honey, this is
Mm.
this is Chet. This is Chet Atkins. I need to know this stuff." So she goes, "Ah, it's corny." That was her word. She
Mm.
goes off to work, and
Yeah.
5 minutes later, the phone rings. This guy goes, "Can you play in the style of Chet Atkins?" And I said, "Yes, I am." So I
Yeah.
put the phone up.
Yeah.
I played him, "May This Be Love," or some little tune off the Chet Atkins Lenny Bro record, which is a phenomenal Standard Brands
Yeah.
record. So he goes, "Okay,
Mm.
you're hired. Tomorrow, I need you to show up at Capitol Records, Studio 2, with nothing but an acoustic guitar. We're going to do the Albertsons supermarket theme." Okay,
Mm.
that's a supermarket here in the States. So I get
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
He's got it written in the key of C. I say, "Can I put it in E? Because then I can play these open strings." And anyway, so I played a 30-second version and a 60-second version, just instrumental solo guitar. Signed the W4 thing, high fives in the control room,
Yeah.
split. 45 minutes later, I'm out of there. I go home and I go, "Hey, I was the only musician on the session. I get double scale, which would be $182.50. She goes, "Yeah, whatever. That stuff's corny." So, what we didn't know, because I was only like 27 or 28, was that every time they changed the voiceover copy on my music
Yeah.
bed, I get paid again. For the Northwest, the Southwest, the Midwest, the South, the Northeast, the Southeast. So these guys up in Maine and New Hampshire are selling Tide laundry detergent and pork chops, and down in the South, you know, it's
Yeah.
apples and oranges, right? So the check
Yeah.
the checks started coming in, and for the next 4.5 years, I made 1,850 bucks a month, and every 4 months I made 2,500. Now, when you're a kid, I
Phew.
mean, this like tripled my my income.
Yeah.
So it was a amazing thing. And then I realized what Larry was talking about. And that because
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
doing a lot of that kind of stuff. He did jingles that went on. So this went on for 4.5 years. Then I get a call to play on a record by a band called REO Speedwagon, right?
Mm.
And they said, "Can you be down here at Conway Studios," which I think it was owned by Earth, Wind, and Fire at the time. "Can you be here by 10 a.m. tomorrow?" And I go, "Yeah, but don't you guys have a guitar player?" And they go, "Yeah, but he's skiing in Switzerland. We got to get this stuff done." So I go, "Great, I'm honored. I love the band. I'll be there." So about 9:30 that night, and I'd heard that our Albertsons run was over. The composer
Yeah.
guy who I'd then worked for a lot, he goes, "We're done, that we had a good run, man. We made 100
Mm.
grand or that 45."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get this call from a guy at 9:30 at night. He goes, "Hey, are you available for a jingle at 10 tomorrow morning?" And I go, "No, I'm too cool. I got I got a record date, I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
I sorry I can't make this." And then I said, he goes, "Okay, we'll call you for the next one." And I
Mm.
go, his name was Al Capps. He wrote Half Breed for Cher, by the way, which is wild. So he's
Okay.
been around. So
Yeah.
he goes, I said, "So what am I missing?" He goes, "Albertsons." And I go, "Just a second, man. Let me
Yeah.
make a call." So I called and go, "Look, I can't be there till noon," because I know jingles are just an hour, right? So I
Yeah, yeah.
went there and I did it, but it was with like a 15-piece string section and me. So even though I was the principal soloist and it was a different tune, um, the money was divided up, and it didn't run as
Right.
long. So, but so that's what I mean by
Yeah.
multiple income streams. You never know when something you do is going to be a real gold mine. So,
Yeah.
Right.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, let me just hang this guy up. He's calling me. So
All right.
I'm gonna,
Chapman?
Another Albertson,
yeah,
another
maybe it's an
Albertson
Albertson.
gig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, so
Man,
us,
I guess my only advice that I really like is something. Um, Actually, Brian Sutton said this, and I took it to heart. It's like at any given time, I only know what I know. I don't know what I
Mhm.
haven't learned yet, and everything I know, I could know better.
mhm,
And so it's sort of like that's that's where I am. That's where Joe Pass was. That's where
Yeah, yeah,
Carl
yeah.
Verheyen is. It's like, and so it kind of like I feel like a lot of times with music in general, it's like it's infinite. It's an infinite
yeah,
pool, and
Mm.
so it never ends. And so it's like you have this pressure of feeling like I have to be, I have to be, I have to be, and it's like you're saying, it's like no, you can just be you
right,
right there, being what the and knowing what you do, and like tailor figuring out what you sound like and what you're good at, and just being okay with it's more zen kinda
yeah,
thing. I'm getting more into that as I get
yeah,
older, but it's
Yeah.
like just where you're just okay with it. You're not competing with these
right.
people. You're it's not this because guitarists, I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes they're
Yeah,
competitive.
Fuck
they don't
yeah.
have that kind of athletic vibe, to where they want to show you how
Yeah.
great their.
Yeah, and it's just like bluegrass is really strong that way. Like, I'll hang out with the young guys and they'll go, "Oh, I've seen you on Instagram. Let me shame you
Yeah, right.
publicly."
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
great.
It's like, "Oh, Lord,
Yeah.
it's
If that
okay.
makes you
You can
happy,
you can shame me."
yeah. If that,
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I just kind of try to have that's the best advice I have is that just calm down,
Mm.
take it as it
yeah,
comes, be
right
okay with
on.
it.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Music is the
yeah,
best, man. It's like,
Yeah.
so why are we so hung
yeah.
up about it
I don't
Yeah.
feel
sometimes?
the pressure that way. I feel the pressure of maintaining because I listen. I have this Instagram, this social media girl that works for me,
Yeah.
does that stuff
Mm.
for me. Just kicks my butt and makes me post stuff. And,
Yeah.
Yeah,
she'll
yeah,
pull out these, me in 1994 just shredding, and I go, "God, I never wanna be worse than I used to could?"
Yeah.
yeah.
I always
Yeah.
wanna maintain a level of proficiency and not go, "Yeah, I can't do that anymore?" I never
Mm.
wanna be that guy.
But do you
That's
Yeah.
feel
pressure.
like I mean, I've do you feel like like your body changes as you get
Yeah.
older, so you feel like your chops are just as good as they've ever been? I mean, that's great if I believe it. Your chops are
Oh, I
amazing,
don't
so
know
I'm
about
not saying, but do you feel like but do you feel like that is the case? Because I feel do you feel like you can still play anything you ever could
well,
before?
I do feel that every now and again, whether it's every 2 or 3 weeks, I just need some maintenance. I mean, because
Mm,
I
yeah.
do not believe in exercises, never have. I don't believe you
Okay.
should
All
practice
right.
anything that you can't play on stage or in front of a microphone. It's just a waste of your
Wow.
time because exercises, you can't use them. I mean, I don't wanna go hear a guy
Yeah.
playing exercise, nobody does. So
Right.
what I
Mm.
work on are the lines and stuff that I'm gonna be able to use for B flat 13, you know what I mean? Work on those dominant
Yeah.
7th Mixolydian or diminished or even melodic minor lines that'll work over that chord, right? So,
Mm.
Yeah.
having said that, every now and again, I do need to just practice my scales with a metronome to make sure I'm clean. The bottom 3 strings have the same tone as the top 3 strings, and so every once in a while, I go, "Yeah, I'm getting sloppy here. I need some maintenance," and I'll put on the
Mm.
metronome, and I'll
Mhm.
stand in front of a mirror and watch my right hand, and sometimes and
Yeah.
just kind of maintain, and I suck, right? But tomorrow I pick up the guitar and I'm playing much cleaner and better. Isn't that weird? It
Mm.
doesn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
manifest
Yeah.
on me that day, like after an hour that
Yeah.
it's tomorrow that I go, "Okay, I'm back."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like sleeping on it. It's like
Yeah.
practice. There's, studies with that about practicing and how that time, that sleeping time is
Yeah.
like where it kind of
You
Yeah.
assimilate
settles in
assimilate
and
it, yeah.
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 Yeah, I think
Yeah, man.
your brain kind of compartmentalizes all the things that you've been running,
Yeah.
and then it sort of compacts it and stores it back in like I
Yeah.
think long-term memory or somewhere like that, and then that's where the magic
Yeah.
happens. So yeah, I know I've read that about taking a nap after practice.
Wow. Tim, do you
Yeah.
teach exercises?
No,
Good.
no,
I don't find them
I think
useful.
I think I got that from you
Uh,
actually on one of our first lessons. You're like, don't no, everything you should play should be music. I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of
right.
sense.
So you give lessons, Carl?
Here
Because I would take one.
Yeah, we can do Zoom. I mean, it's now called, Zoom or Teams, Microsoft Teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's
Yeah,
do it.
All right, well,
I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah, dude,
Cool.
absolutely.
Hey, I
Yeah,
have
man.
this thing I
yeah.
gotta go to called Dudes Who
Me
Lunch,
too.
and, it's
Okay, all
it's
right.
it's run by this great cat, Elliot Easton, that used to be in the Cars.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for the car. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
if you know the Cars and his guitar playing, it
Yes.
really holds up. His idea
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Yeah.
really cool.
Elliot Easton, are you crazy? That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So you're gonna go have
Yeah,
lunch
yeah,
with Elliot
Elliot
Easton.
Howard Leese from Heart, in Bad Company. He was in Bad
God
Company at
Yeah.
damn
the
it.
end, but he was the guy in Heart too. So those 2
Yeah,
guys
dude.
and
Okay.
me, and then a few other cats that I can't. The bass player
Yeah.
from Strawberry Alarm Clock. Are you hip to that?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Incense
yeah.
and Peppermints. I think Tim's too
Yeah.
young. Tim's too love
Yeah.
and too young.
Yeah. But before you
Yeah.
go, there'd be one last question for you both. Do you like your playing?
Wow. Certain times, certain
Yeah,
nights.
it
Yeah. It's
seems to be the theme for everybody I
Yeah.
ask that to.
I usually come off stage
yeah.
going, God, I'm so sorry, everybody. I sucked. Every once in a
Yeah.
while, I go, man, I hit the mark.
Yeah.
That played. Do you notice that? Like I go on the road, and after 5, 10 nights, you really start to get some stuff going on, and you start
Mhm.
really connecting. And at a certain point, you're kind of able to play almost everything you hear. And I live for that.
Mhm.
I heard these notes go by and I just played them.
Yeah.
The danger of being out on tour for me is you sort of develop some shtick because I
Mhm.
play a song, and last night I played this certain lick, and it went over great. I loved it. The band smiled. I got to do that again tonight. By the end of a
Mm.
tour, you got a lot of shtick in there. So a fresh new tour
Yeah.
is, I don't remember what I was doing the last time we were out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right. Chapman, do you like your playing?
Eh, sometimes same
Yeah.
same sort of thing, It's yeah, sometimes it's really nice and sometimes it's not. But I try not to get hung up on it because it's like, the effortless mastery thing. It's like trying to sound good is the best way to sound bad,
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I just don't worry about it. It's like, "Oh, another shitty guitar solo." Well, who cares, It's
yeah.
like
Yeah, I know you need to
Alright.
be in that moment when you're playing it.
Yes,
Even though
yeah.
what I
That
just
Yeah.
played
that
was
zen moment.
completely wrong. I've been in the studio where I'm going for something, and the producer or the bass player sitting next to me as I'm overdubbing. I go, okay,
Mm.
like give me another one. I got to do that again. They go, are you kidding? That was amazing. And I go, no, no, I was going for
Mm.
something else. And they go, but listen to what you got, what you did. And then I go,
Yeah.
wow, that's not so bad. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely. We're
All
the
right.
worst judges, like, you can't hear it, you
yeah,
know?
Mm.
I-
You
Yes,
like,
yeah.
you can't hear what you sound like,
right.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like
exactly.
you have to go back and
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's
So
yeah,
anyway,
All
well, you
right.
guys, I'm gonna have
Gentlemen,
to grow a
I'll
beard if I'm gonna hang with you again.
indeed.
yeah.
So,
We arranged ourselves slightly different. I should be in the middle.
right.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your
It's
time.
been a lot of fun,
I
Tim. And
really
let
really
me know when
appreciate
it's
it.
when it's ready to go, and I'll put it out on social and stuff.
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
drop you a message. I'll tag you both, and yeah, we will go from there. But yeah, thank you again,
Pleasure meeting you,
for
Carl.
both times. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, we will speak soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Cheers. Bye bye.